And then if you guys wouldn't mind liking the live, hi Tam, how are you? Sharing it, letting people know that there's good things and good energy that are happening in our crew or with our crew here. That helps me to be able to help a lot of other people in getting any good info out there. So if you guys have any questions about astrology, want to know more about the astrology of the day, Tam, we had our full moon in Scorpio as a beautiful reflector. I'm sure that affected you in some unique and interesting ways. So yeah, let me pull up. I want to make sure I have my screen set up here the correct way. There we go. I had a couple Patreon things going on, so I'm just making sure I have my screen set up. And then hi Tira, how are you? Good. Okay, organize that there. Okay. I'm still learning. Can you give me an example? Yeah, so it depends on. I was pleased at the movie. You're so sweet. Thank you. I hope you enjoy your movie. So it depends on where, like if we're talking about the full moon, let me pin this. So if we're talking about the full moon in Scorpio as a reflector, happy Thursday, you want to be looking at where Scorpio falls in your chart. So essentially, as a reflector, every full moon or new moon, or basically the full moon especially, but every day you're getting temporary definition in your chart that's changing the way that you experience your energy. So that's why we say wait 28 days, wait a lunar cycle before you make any decisions, because how you feel is going to change. It's not going to stay super consistent. And that's not a bad thing. There's nothing wrong with that. It just means that you want to go with the flow of like what your natural energy is telling you. So hi Chelsea, with the full moon in Scorpio, everybody has a house that is ruled by Scorpio, so to speak. So there's going to be a certain activation depending on your rising sign. Thank you, Chelsea, for liking the live. Tam, what is your rising sign, or your ascendant, it's also called, because that'll help me help you more too. Fly away from my glasses here. Or does anyone know where Scorpio is in their chart? Yeah. So that will help me answer your question. So if you know your rising sign, that's a good place to start. And then we can go from there. But it's not as much help if I try to explain it without knowing what your rising sign is. But basically, that's going to create some activation in a certain area of your chart. If you go to yeah, literally, how everyone's emotions are like fucked up because how everyone feels fucked up. Hi, Shelly, welcome. Oh yeah, 5th house Scorpio, 4th house Lilith in Scorpio. Yeah, so in whole sign, so Shelly is using what I also like to use, which is Placidus, which means that there'll be an intersection or an interception where there's more than one house that Scorpio can fall in, so to speak. So if you are an Aquarius rising like myself, Scorpio's in our 10th house, but I have a big overlap between my 10th and my 9th house for where Scorpio is illuminating for the full moon for me. We're still feeling the effects of that. We really feel the effects of the full moon, I find, until the new moon, which is going to be happening on May 27th. So yeah, if you guys know, yeah, has different, yeah, exactly. Even if you take that away, right? So like to use, Shelly as an example, right? So Scorpio, and then Chelsea, let me know where Scorpio was in your chart, or your rising sign is, and I can help you figure it out. Cancer rising, yes. So you're ruled by the moon, Shelly. So you feel this too, where like being a luminary, like you definitely are getting the attention and the love when it comes to energy in general. Libra rising, okay, yeah, Chelsea. So you're really feeling it. You were really feeling this Scorpio full moon. Second house, right? So taking a stock at like looking at where people are playing with your money, how paying attention to, thank you Tam for liking the live, paying attention to how people, like where you have energetic ties to people who may be draining your money, or like if you want to be spending time doing other things or like investing in other people, places and things, yourself, right? How you invest yourself and where your energy goes plays it out in relation to your money. Like second house sits opposite our 8th house, which is other people's finances and resources. Second house is our own resources. Part of our resources is also our energy. So where our attention goes, our energy flows, and also our money. So if we're paying too much attention to other people's crises, other people's financial crises, that's going to put us in a bad spot if we aren't taking care of our side of the street first, right? You want to pour out from an overflow, not a deficit. If we talk about that in relation to beautiful Shelly here with her 5th and her 4th house. So 5th house is all about creativity, childlike energy, our hobbies, has like for everybody a little bit of energy of Leo. So 5th house, right? It's like illuminating things that you were doing as a kid that you maybe just like, oh, you know what? I used to want to be, hi Anna. I used to want to be an actor as a kid. And now like I am, looking to get back to that all of a sudden. Why is that? It can be a little bit of that illumination, the activation of a Scorpio 5th house. 4th house, for your Lilith also, Shelly, which a lot of people that find me have these placements or these things. It's like issues with mom, grandma, mother side of the family, femininity, female relationships, roots, your home life, your origin family. So I do have quite a few of my Cancer risings that have a little bit of that aspect too with the 4th house that have felt that way. Or there was just like really trying not to repeat creating chaos in your own home. If you feel emotionally dysregulated, it's like figuring out ways to work around that. Just a little bit of housekeeping. I do have my books open. So if you guys do want to book a 10-minute reading, it's only $12. I keep them affordable to make sure that everyone has access to this information in a fair exchange. But I'm just going to make sure that I have my notifications open. I have a second screen set up here. I do pivot the camera so you guys can see your chart. And then I upload these. Hi, Susel. I upload these onto YouTube after the fact. So the link is in my bio. It'll say TikTok live mini reading sign up, and you can just book through that link and choose the time. It will be set to your time zone. So that way you guys have that. And I see Megan who booked for 8 p.m. So I'll start Megan's chart. Thank you, Megan, in 11 minutes, or excuse me, 13 minutes, 11 minutes. I miss you too. I just saw your text, Susel, before I hopped on. So I will send you a picture. Excuse me. And then Anna, yours too. I'm like, I had all these messages come in all at one time when I was on my last call. And so hence me being a little bit over with my time here. I was like, I need to make a cup of coffee, even though it seems like I'm hyped up on caffeine anyway. I was like, yeah, I need the warm beverage. I need some Cafe Bustelo too, but I'm not drinking that. I just have regular Colombian blend. Then I light a little bit of my incense. And then Chelsea, I did see your question. So I'll go back to that to make sure. There we go. This is a Archangel Michael incense that I got from a really cute metaphysical store in Easton, Pennsylvania, actually, where I got this book actually for the I Ching. So yeah. Hi, Hav. I have to go back and watch our manifestor meeting. Yes, you'll love it, Megan. You'll love it. And also, Tara is adopted too. So I have my 2 manifestors that are adopted in my manifestor Patreon. Out of 3, we have Rory, who has like usually watches the recordings. But I was like, oh my God, like what are the chances of that? And that you're both manifestors, and we were talking about where that shows up in a human design body graph. So that was cool. Yeah, I'll probably be on for like another hour or so. So if you guys want to go ahead and do that, but we will start with Megan, and I'll bring up Megan's chart. And then I'll answer Chelsea first before that. So yeah, so I'll start, we have 10 minutes and I'll start with Megan. So question, read the houses. Which method do you find reliable? Because I'm 29 degrees Libra. I love that. Beautiful fame degree. So I start with whole sign first. However, being an Aquarius rising, the type of reader I am, and in my experience, I also found that Placidus is a little bit more accurate to like the nuances of an individual person, especially when you're such a late degree rising, and you know, because it's 29 degrees, that you have the sense of like, oh, I know I meant to be seen. I know I meant to be perceived, because it is a fame degree if you follow degree theory too. Which is Nikola Stanyanovich, I think is how you pronounce his last name. He was the creator of degree theory. We'll probably do a training on that at some point for you guys in Patreon. Even here, maybe a little bit of overlap. We'll do a series or something, because it is really interesting to talk about. I'll probably write about it in my Substack too. But yeah, Chelsea, so I look at, and how Anna is really good. I asked her this question too for what she preferred. And the way that I can say that beautiful projector Anna had described it was that whole sign is really good for like predictive things. And we also, a good point she made was that we cannot do horoscopes without using whole sign. Because if you're a 29 degree rising, it pushes your houses where it barely looks like you have anything in its normal spot, right? Or you're like, wait, but I'm a Libra rising and most of my 12th house is Libra, or my first house, like, you know, you'll see it that way. So the good point, I want to give Anna her flowers there for sure, is a beautiful astrologer, about whole sign for that. So it's a very helpful descriptor in her beautiful teacherly way. But then for me, I do find like, so a lot of my planets for my Scorpio fall in the 9th house, which I definitely recognize, like higher education. I love going back to school. I would love to be a professor. Yeah, Megan, exactly. But I like, and I resonate a lot with the energy of like 10th house stuff. So like if I talk about like how things have played out in my career, how they've evolved in my career, how people have treated me, what they do based on my 10th house and our reputation, and, you know, interesting things that happen. If you are a fellow Scorpio, 10th house like me, you'll see how that kind of plays out. But it's interesting because you can kind of almost look at it by a case-by-case basis, but it's also why I like to use in astrology the traditional first and then the modern rulers of each of the signs. So this wouldn't apply for you, Chelsea, but like for Scorpio, the traditional ruler is Mars, but the modern ruler is Pluto, because Pluto wasn't found until 1930. So up until 1930, which wasn't even 100 years ago, obviously, you could do the quick mental math. Yeah, and of course, you know, for a while, Mars has been the traditional ruler of Scorpio. So I also like to look at both because I think there's a lot of validity in the fact, hi Kate, in the fact that Pluto being a ruler of Scorpio also plays into some of the narrative of the transformational qualities. But also, hi Pika, how are you? I didn't see you enter. Thanks for saying hi. It's nice to see you. But yeah, so the short story long, right? As a manifesting generator, I can never give just a simple answer, but just so that you know the full lay of the land. And then, yeah, let me bring up Megan's chart here too, as I'm yapping. And then if you guys joined a little bit later, you can sign up for a reading, link in my bio. So yeah, I need to look into them more and see what feels right. But Scorpio, my 12th house, feels accurate. Yeah, I think, and also looking like if the full moon was illuminating a lot of your subconscious beliefs and a lot of the things that you felt about, thank you, ways that you've been holding yourself back, and that came into play the Scorpio moon, right? Like this could have felt like that too, you know, really paying attention to subconscious beliefs, things like that, right? Your dreams being kind of crazy, that could also have come into play this full moon. So just some other ways to kind of look at what's been happening there. I think I'm gonna too cute. There we go. Okay. So Megan, oh, I have two. And then let me bring up Megan's chart. I have you in my beautiful organized manifester Patreon folder. So we can start I'll start in 2 minutes. I'll start a little early. Yeah, dreams, gifts, all coming so fast. Yeah, I know. My dad moved in with me this weekend, which is also very 10th house full moon. And because it rules his dad. So he moved in with us this weekend. I became his primary caregiver. And so, yeah, making room for him. What was I going to say in relation to that? And we all had crazy dreams last night. Myself, my fiance, and my dad. So I don't think anyone really slept last night. I think everyone's kind of operating in a sleep deficit. And then, yeah, and for readings, just usual TikTok live mini readings. So anything that you want to ask about, thank you. Anything that you want to ask about, anywhere you're struggling, Pika, to feel like maybe a little bit blocked. I'm doing the usual human design. Thank you so much. So if there's anything under that umbrella, if you want me to pull a couple cards to you, I can pull a couple cards, whatever. The world is your oyster. So whatever you'd like to purchase under the umbrella of pulling up your human design chart too and doing a little couple extra things. Hi, Malia. Just let me know what you need. And I'm here to be of service in my Piscean way and our 29-degree Pisces Saturn day. Yeah, I spend so much money over the full moon. Yeah, I have Scorpio second house. Yes, there you go. There you go. So yeah, it's like being aware of like where the money's going, where am I spending it? I'm good. It's definitely been like a big transition for me, for sure. And my dad is still mobile, you know. Bex, I only pull up charts for people who have paid me for reading. So I appreciate you sharing your birthday. But out of respect for the 2 years that I've been doing this work, I don't just do birthdays in the chat. So thank you. But yeah, so I'm going to pull over. That being said, to beautiful Megan here, who has paid for the next 10 minutes of my time to look at her chart. I can bring you around the world here, and then I'll flip my screen so that you can see what I'm looking at. And then Megan, we will be about 15 minutes into the recording. I will put the timestamps in the comments. So Pika, this is recorded as well, so you can watch your reading back again and again. So without further ado, we will spend the next 10 minutes looking at beautiful Megan here in all her manifestor glory. So Megan's question, so that you're welcome, so that you guys know what I'm referencing and what we're kind of looking at for Megan, is my human design and astrology. What Mars placement do I have and how they show up in my design personality? Mars and Pluto are in my 9th house on sidereal in Scorpio, with all this Mars energy going with the personality. Mars and Pluto are in my 9th house on sidereal in Scorpio, with all this Mars energy going with on your personality side, which Mars already being a ruler of Scorpio, it's not totally uncomfortable in this sign, right? So specifically, when we're looking at human design as it relates to your astrology, tropical astrology, not sidereal, this side here, we're looking to Mars. Gate 43, I know because I've been doing this for a long time, is a Scorpio gate placement in human design. So gate 43, we then look at, okay, the type or the ways that Megan takes action because of this gate 43 is gate of insight. So her actions are more surrounded by her thoughts, right? Versus her gut instinct, which makes a lot of sense because if we think about the fact that you're a manifestor, Megan, you don't have sacral authority or a motor center that's defined there, right? So you guys that are my non-sacrals, my manifestors, my reflectors, and my projectors, you're going to notice this. What's also interesting that you'll probably notice, Megan, that's been happening to you right now is a lot of mental overwhelm. A lot of thoughts getting downloaded and like kind of feeling like, oh my gosh, all of a sudden I have all this, like these ideas, they're flowing out of me. I feel super creative. I'm having all these aha moments and these insights. And now I'm like, oh my God, like I have to take action somehow. Like, what am I going to do? Where am I going to do it? Where's the outlet? And so when we look at, yeah, exactly. I highly recommend having probably more than one journal that you are using to compartmentalize like your different types of thoughts. So if you have like a dream journal, keep that in one spot, or maybe it's kind of like sections in a binder, you know, or like you use a bookmark or something, or maybe you like to use one journal. I don't know. The world is your oyster with how you want to use and spend money on stationery. I'm a stationery queen, so I have 100 different journals at any different time, right? But I'll have one that's like kind of like my daily planner. I literally have my daily planner. I have a separate book that I use for like tracking steps and like my workout routine. And then I have my wonderful wall of like any metrics that I'm trying to track for my business or any creative ideas, my content planning structure. Yeah, there you go. So we already have a dreams journal, an ideas journal, a downloads journal, astrology, herbs, and healing. There you go, right? Or 6 sections that you can make in your binder. That's a really great way to capitalize on the energy of this. Now, for you, it being in the 5th line, you can feel like sometimes people are a little turned off or don't really understand why you take actions the way that you do because they're like, it's funny because I want to say like, yes, I saw that. Yes, Scorpio placement's not Mars, although it worked out interchangeably. Anyway, so it was helpful because it is your Mars is in Scorpio regardless. So that helped, right? Looking at that. So specifically, what Scorpio placements do you have? Let's see. So if we go down the line here, your South Node also being in Scorpio in gate 28, right? Gate of the game player. So what you pulled in from a past lifetime or what you learned from the past or learning from your mistakes is how to manage your time better. How instead of feeling like, oh my God, like I'm going to die someday, like, you know, I'm not going to make, like there's only so much time, like I'm really nervous, like it's turning that and being like, wow, like I only have one life to live, so I might as well spend my time wisely. I really want to choose 4th line for both your North Node and your South Node, who and what, yes, exactly, who and what I'm spending my time with. So that's really beautiful because it plays really well with your Taurus. Hi, Addie, welcome. It plays really well with your Taurus North Node in gate 27 because, yeah, I love that. You're like, yeah, let's do it. There's nothing I can't do. And it's also on your design side too. Hi, Patty, welcome. Yeah, so your personality, or excuse me, your design sun is also gate 28. So that makes even more sense. And your Pluto on both sides, generational placement, having Pluto in Scorpio. And then for you specifically, because of the degrees, in gate 28. So it's like there's a transformational aspect to being healthily competitive. I feel like that's a big reason why you're successful in insurance, is because like you have the benefit of like being able to really connect with people where they're at, but also like being able to know like what needs to be done to take action. So it's like you're like me, and this is also our shared Aquarius rising. Hi, twin flame, welcome. I love that picture, their profile picture, very electric. But yeah, so you're really paying attention to like, I know that you say you're going to be about it, but like, I only want to be around people who are going to be about it too. So like, if we say we're going to post, we're going to post. Like, don't tell me like and wait 3 months, 12 months, 8 years. Like, okay, like that's fine if that's your flow. But like, if you're bringing this to my table, you better expect Saturn ruled that like, I'm going to create some discipline around this. So that plays in very much so to this. So any gate that sits in the spleen center, also you having gate 44, Scorpio, fear of running out of time, right? You and I both have the 44-26 channel of surrender. It's the gate of alertness. So it's like, okay, I'm aware that this has happened before in times past. I know that when we do XYZ, XYZ is the result. If I do, X plus Y equals Z, 1 plus 2 equals 3, you get the gist. So it's the fear of the past repeating itself, but also like the fear of past failures coming to kind of like haunt you in the future. So you're like, damn, I only made that mistake once. I'm definitely not repeating it twice because like, I don't want to be embarrassed, It's also where it can come from, where like once you've really given people a lot of chances, right? And I try to teach that and no one listens. Yeah. And listen, the best way to teach it is by leading by example, right? Like let your actions be louder than their words and your words, right? Hi, Jasmine, welcome. So that way, it's not worth it to try to convince people to see your side. That's also like very manifestor. Like your strategy is to inform. So it's like, I'm just telling you, like whether or not you listen to me, like I'm already doing my own thing. I can't be overly concerned about you. Even as a practitioner, like every single day I get on live, I'm on YouTube, I'm making videos, I'm in sessions, I'm mentoring people. I can give you the action plan, but it's not my responsibility to crawl inside your body and make you do it. If you want, somebody for social media management, you can hire them for that, right? But it's like you have to people, yeah, I have said, well, all I can do is tell you, hi, Noelle. Exactly. And I think that's like the blessing of an Aquarius rising, but also the point of frustration too, or the point of anger, using your not self in human design. Hello, gorgeous. Your not self in human design. It's like it teaches you where you've been overextending in your Scorpio, where like you're about transformation. You want the beginning, the middle, and the end, right? Like you want A, B, C. You want to see that there's actually things happening. So it's like anyone who kind of sits on, they're behind for too long, even if you love them as friends, like you can just be like, you know what? Like if I'm going to get this thing done, this has been a big theme that's been coming up today, especially because of the full moon, especially with my non-sacrals. I had 2 meetings with 2 projectors today. And it was like, damn, like, okay, I can't wait anymore. I have to be focused on doing what I'm going to do and not worried about what other people are doing. And it may be people that like you wanted to collaborate with. I will say as an Aquarius rising, it's longer term plans. Like you cannot wait on somebody else to have a podcast with you. You cannot wait on somebody else to start a business with you. I would recommend that, especially as a manifestor plus being Aquarius rising, you don't wait to open any of your businesses like based on like waiting around for somebody else, because you don't need it, right? You need people who are like, okay, who's the literal realtor that's going to bring me around to different businesses so I can purchase. Hi, KC. Nice to see you 2 times in one day. Who's the literal like person? Yeah, exactly. Listen, because you want the best for everybody and there's nothing wrong with that. But the way that you can be of service, that it's better to be of service, hi Zaria, is to allow yourself to have the idea, have the vision, buy the apothecary, but then host the workshops that happen in the apothecary. And that's how you help people, right? Because for your placements too, it's like a lot of people like to feel like in proximity to you that they can do the same thing when really they're fulfilled and energized by your excitement level for the things that you want to do. This is also very Scorpio and the Scorpio activation in your 10th house. in whole sign, right? But they're very activated by it. So they think that by proxy, it's like, I don't know if you guys remember that episode of SpongeBob where Squidward is teaching SpongeBob how to become a sculptor. And he's like, if I rub my tentacles on this block of marble, like I'll become a good artist too. Or like, so I'm totally destroying like the vocabulary of that or the line, but it's essentially like people think that like if I stand next to you or if I, it's like putting your name on the Google Doc of like work that you didn't do for the group project and expecting to get the credit. And so it's disappointing because basically what ends up happening is that people cannot carry the weight and cannot move as fast. Hi, Trick. They cannot move as fast as you can. And so then you get frustrated or angry because they hold you back, but you weren't really seeing them for who they were, or them, you can collaborate with them, but they should only play a role in your life for a season, because ultimately, hi, Kali. Yeah, exactly. Through that desire for Scorpio osmosis, 100%. Especially when it's in your 10th house. Hold on one second. I just need to get up. Oy. Especially when it's in your 10th house, because that also has to do with your standing and reputation. And listen, like I have had people, I've been on here for 2 years on this app. I've been doing this work for 9.5 years. I also have a third line, in my profile where it's like a matter of it's going to happen, right? Like it's going to happen. So I know this, I know how people are attracted to working with me. I'm aware of it in my energy, but like, it's not, just because I'm nice and I'm the first person that maybe has been able to see you in this way. That's my job. That's my gift, right? That's what we're here for, all as individuals. So I can help you, but I'm not responsible for bringing you up along with me on top of my pedestal that I've crafted. As a practitioner, I'd much rather you build a more sustainable podium and pedestal on your own so that we can all stand and give our speech at the right time in the right place. And Trick is really big on that, and beautiful, like collective consciousness, also a Saturn ruled Capricorn rising. So it's like having the discipline, having the structure for that reason. Let me just make sure that if I keep chatting on this subject, I'm not going to be yapping over anyone who booked after. Okay, we have a little bit more time. Again, housekeeping, if anyone wants a 10-minute reading, $12 at the link in my bio. I download them, they're recorded, and they go on my YouTube, so you can watch it again and again. It doesn't get lost in the abyss of TikTok live. But yeah, you work too hard, Megan, for what you want to have anyone squash that for you, and I think I can speak to a lot of people can understand that. No one's after, so if you want to go ahead, Pika, and book right now, there's that spot will be available. And I think it should be, you may get cut off if you try to book. Yeah, it'll book you out for, I believe it would be 8:20 right now, but I can start early for you. Hi, Jenny, welcome. Yeah, Megan, absolutely. I think, it's just knowing that like with all this Mars energy, it's teaching you how to be autonomous. You don't need somebody to create the creative ideas for you. You need people to help you with the actual execution of your plan. So if like, hi, Haley, welcome. If you need somebody to work on flooring, yeah, you could learn flooring, but better served to hire the contractor to do that knows their job. Like, and that's just to alleviate the pressure so that you can focus on your work and your business. Because ultimately also with where Mars is for you, you like to work just like I do, or like working for us is like, I enjoy it. I enjoy the work that I do. So like, I wouldn't be here and own my own business had I not actually found joy in it, only for the money. If I were doing some things only for the money, I would be a lawyer or do something else. I would be a doctor. I'd like, fuck it, I'll get my PhD, right? So yeah, exactly. I don't like being told what to do. Exactly. And listen, I'm the same way because 99% of the time, I don't need it. Like I already know, or I've already educated myself, especially you, girlie, with that Gemini moon. I know you know a lot. So it's like, I don't really need somebody to tell me like what to do. I know the direction, I know the end goal. I just need some of like the logistics of the path to be cleared for me. It's like, yeah, I could go out and get a snow plow when it snows, but if there's somebody in my neighborhood that's like a kid that, yeah, there you go. I love you guys. I always want you on my trivia team. The best. I'd rather just hire someone so I could have time to stay in my office and do what I have to do for my business and like let somebody else take care of the snowblower. That kind of stuff. Knowing what I want to manage. Like I think also when it comes to like wealth mindset or money management. Yes, I know. I knew you would. You and Haley, I don't know if you love trivia, but you would be amazing at it. But yeah, so if there's things that you just want to delegate that don't relate to your job, it's Anna and I were talking about this too. I think like a couple weeks ago, Anna, It's like delegating the things that are just off your to-do list, that are the other extraneous activities of life, because ultimately, like, we are our brand, we are our business. Like, you know, my work is such a labor of love. And I love what I do, but like, I need me to be in it in order for it to thrive the way that it does, because it's such an infusion and an extension of me, in a healthy way, right? Like, definitely had some practice and time, like, separating my whole persona and identity from business, but yeah. Yeah, okay, good. So you learned that before I did, and the Scorpio helps with that, because Scorpio likes autonomy. So yeah, the independence is very good. But yeah, I don't think there was any other Scorpio placements that we missed chatting about. 43, 28. Oh, gate 14 is the only one gate of power skills. It's the last gate before Scorpio season. I think Pika just booked. Let's see. Oh, beautiful Anna. Oh, okay. I'll start with Anna. I'll pivot over. Gate 14, gate of power skills, though, is just fueling people. In the very short description I'll give, fueling people through your individuality and excitement, and helping other people in a way that's sustainable for you. That's the short, sweet, and condensed version. Thank you, Anna, so much. I appreciate you booking a reading with me. Ooh, whatever I'm called to share. Okay, let's see. Let me pull up your chart. There we go. Okay. And then I'll flip over here. Ooh, okay. I already know. Yeah, thank you. That's what I'm here for. I'm happy to be of service. So the thing that I went to automatically, which has come up so many times, yes, I actually do every day. I think you just don't see them up close. But so I see some of my eyelash glue and my what is this called? Eyeshadow. But they're Kiss number 11 lashes, and I cut them in half. I cut them in a very specific way, and then I only do like the outer corner of my eye, because my lashes are like long enough here, but I like that it elongates my eye, instead of like sometimes because my hair is so fine, my eyebrows, my eyelashes, my hair, that they'll fall flat if the mascara is too heavy. So my gift of if you guys like lashes but you want to do them yourself and not have to go to a place, it's like I pay for $1 and it lasts me like 6 months. So yeah, little tip for you. A little beauty tip. But what I was going to go to right away, I'll actually like talk to you like this. So we're about like 40 minutes into the recording, not even probably. So I'll mark this for you, Anna, but I automatically went to your gate 29, your unconscious gate 29, which is your south node. And so almost every person that I gave a healthy reprimanding to with gate 29. And these are things that like, I know you already know, but just a helpful validation, because it may have been percolating is the word that I want to use, a little bit more recently. And I was saying this in my body doubling session this morning for YouTube Live. And I was like, listen, as gate 29 people, hi, Cosmic Fairy Love, and gate 29 people, having gate 29 as a business owner, working with people with gate 29, I know that you downloaded CapCut and you say that you can edit content for me, right? But just because you have CapCut and you can download the app and you get the general idea of creating content doesn't mean that you actually should be the person that does that. So being realistic and knowing like, what do I actually have the bandwidth for? And maybe it's that, yeah, okay. Like lovingly, like, let's check it together, right? I'm holding your hand. We're talking through this. But almost every person, it sits in the sacral center. So I'll flip this back, but it feels more like, better for me to flip the camera. Yeah. Okay. Sits in the sacral center, because what happens when it's in a motor center is it's based around or flavored by action. What's been interesting, take a sip of my coffee here, is that we also have gate 33, which is where our Leo Mars is. Gate 29 is late degree Leo, very early, like 0 degree Virgo, placement. So if you have people that are born on like August, 21st, you'll see that they have like maybe a 0 degree Virgo sun, they can have this placement. So what it does is like, it's the yes person gate. But what happens is that you end up, because like you think you understand a project, you need to, like, once you get a couple steps in or 30 minutes in and you're like, oh my gosh, like I actually realized like I didn't understand the full scope of this, or I don't understand like how this person wanted me to do this thing, it's okay to take a pause and ask for help and more clarity. And just getting really clear on like, okay, but I'm the talent, especially for you as a projector, like I want to know, like I want to choose what I want to be known for, right? So it's like for you, you know generally what your end goal is. I feel like every one of my projectors, okay, yeah, every one of my projectors has pretty much been in the same boat. I like low-key kind of yelled at everyone today on YouTube, but like nicely, right? I was like, I do this like, it's funny, like do this in remembrance of me. Do this like for me, you know, for me, for you. Like I come from the lens of talent management. So it's like, if my people are not tight and together, I can't promote them properly. So I'm like, I don't need you to be like a Renaissance woman. You can totally be over the course of your lifetime. But for this juncture, at this place that we found each other, where am I sending your applications to get promoted, right? Like where can I send you? So like if you have your website ready to go, I literally just said this to my projector mentee today. I was like, I need you to create your socials already so that I have a place to send people when I interview you. I can interview you, but if you have nowhere for people to buy from you, 70% of the population are generators and manifesting generators. They're going to hear the interview. They're going to be like, oh, the Instagram's coming soon. It's gone. The follow's gone, you ain't getting them back. Maybe, right, for people who are really down with what you're saying, but most times you end up putting our own foot in our mouth, and then you get frustrated, and it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy of like lack of recognition, you know, lack of attention, whatever, right? For you, and listen, we talked about this. I was like, it's knowing when to pause, and like pauses are different from stopping completely. So it's also, you've been through a lot of transition in the last like couple months, right? And from now until July, basically, a lot of transition. So giving yourself grace, to me, intuitively, what I also sense for you is that this transition is a pulling back, teaching you like how to stay consistent, right? Just enough to get by, right? With what you have to do to keep your irons in the fire. We're going through a little bit of maintenance though, so that when you get into July, August, it'll start to pick back up again with what you want to be picking up on, right? I know I can say that without sharing any of the fun things in the future. But it'll start to pick back up again with what you want to be picking up on, right? I know I can say that without sharing any of the fun things in the future. But that way you have a little bit more of that, like, hi, Corinne, not feeling so, like, don't beat yourself up, right? Like, you don't have to, it's funny you said spot, I know it was spot on, but like spot cleaning is also what I wanted to say in relation to that. It's especially for today. I said this in my energy of the day update, which was posted at like 4:00 in the afternoon. So I was like, okay, for the 4 hours that you guys are going to use this, it's like the micro habits that are making up the macro today. And that's also going to apply. Thank you, Trick. Apply for tomorrow. So getting organized, like a lot of what I was doing today was organizing files on my computer during our body doubling session on YT. Thank you so much. That's cute. I appreciate that. But yeah, like the micro habits that are making up the macro. So the things that we do today, it's like, you know, when you have a weight loss goal, or we know less calories in, more calories out equals weight loss, right? Or the fitness level that we want to get to. We know historically that is true. That's just an equation. That's a fact. Same mindset has to go into anything you want to do for your business goals, your money goals, whatever your goals are right now, right? So for everybody that's here, the 9 of you guys that are here, I want you to think about something that you've been stressing yourself out about that you haven't taken action on in the way that you would love to. Today, right? Posting something today, no matter what it is. You guys know I always say this, especially Anna, you know this, being in my projector Patreon and just being my girl, right? Like, how do I make this simple? How do I simplify this, right? Even if it's just an Instagram story, a quick TikTok, whatever, like if we're talking about content, right? In this lens, use that example, like something is better than nothing, right? Maybe it's a poll on your story. Maybe it's a quote, somebody that just lets you know that you still exist in the atmosphere of content. More than any other app, I will say that TikTok does give you a little bit of a slap on the wrist if you don't post consistently, or it knows that you post consistently and you stop for a day or two. I know for some of you that doesn't really apply, and I, you know, at this juncture, but like just kind of thinking of it like that. It's just keeping yourself in the running and your fire's going, right? The biggest thing that I keep getting called to say is like, you're just stoking the fire, right? I know you're just stoking the fire. You're just maintaining, right? Like every post does not have to be the best post that you've ever created in your life. I know there's a lot of people that will also try to sell you courses on content creation, just saying, that will be like, well, if you're not posting high value content, and we associate high value with like triple HD 4K, you know, I can basically smell you through the phone type imagery. For the type of spiritual content that we're posting, it really, that niche doesn't apply. If we were like National Geographic content and we're talking about like, you know, how the only thing that you're taking photos of is like your journey to Guatemala or like Madagascar or something like that. Different story. My point this Monday was so helpful to remind my peeps I'm still around. Yes, exactly. And then remembering like a little bit of absence does make the heart grow fonder. You know, like that is its own skill, or like there's a different word for that, strategy in and of itself. But I think like using your discernment for what you feel like is best for you can also be something helpful to pay attention to. But yeah, I think like really watching what you're saying yes to, and knowing that like, Pika, I'm going to pull up your chart now, my dear. It doesn't have to be so perfect all the time in order for it to still be good. As long as what you come to the core of is asking yourself before you post anything, what value are people getting from what I'm sharing, and how am I educating them? That will take you so much farther than anything else. And I'm speaking to you from experience with that. Not just like what people have said, you know, in every social media class that I've ever taken. It just is like, how are you providing more value? Cause like you could have the video that's like grainy AF, but like, it really doesn't matter as long as your people are getting what they need and what they know you provide for them. So, Pika, I have your birthday and time. I just don't have your location of birth. So if you don't mind dropping that in the chat, and then we'll get started. Yeah, $12. It's a reading. Yes, so I do human design readings, which are a version of astrology readings. So we do look at your, no, that's okay. We do look at your human design, and I'll pull up the chart for you. You'll see it in a second. You'll see my screen for Pika. So anything you have a question about, any blockage that you're facing. Yeah. So if you go to my profile, there's a section that says, I'm just having a hard time finding the location of birth for Pika. Hold on. I have to look up the closest town because it's not reading it. Okay. There we go. I just need something that's on the same longitude, latitude. So yeah, okay, perfect. Yeah, I just put in Santa Clarita comes up for you, so we can have that too. But thank you, Anna. I'm just gonna pivot over because I'm 2 minutes behind to beautiful Pika here. And Pika, again, this is recorded and it's gonna be on YouTube, so you'll see it there. Same for you, Anna, as well. Yeah, just watch out for where you're saying yes to people you should be saying no to, and it's okay even when you're getting started in a new job. I think especially so, like use that excuse for as long as you can. You know, like use that because it's true. So for Pika, what roadblocks or conditioning patterns are holding me back from starting or sharing my path? And T, just to clarify too, link is in my bio for that. The TikTok live mini reading sign up, you'll see it there at brennakeely.com/links. So a couple things. So I'll read the question again, and then we'll go to 833, excuse me. What roadblocks or conditioning patterns are holding me back from starting or sharing my path? So the thing that I went to automatically, buzzword being sharing, is your undefined throat center. So I was talking about this today. Also your Virgo moon girly, we're going to talk about that in a second, but your undefined throat center is being really nervous that people will misinterpret what you have to say, because to be fair, it probably has happened in your life where you're like, oh, that came out wrong, or like, I didn't mean it to sound like that, or maybe it sounded a little harsh when I was just being blunt and I didn't want to sugarcoat it. I wasn't trying to be mean. Sometimes it could be like talking a lot at the wrong time, or realizing that like you have a hyperfixation on something and you're like, oh my God, my Virgo moon knows a lot about this. I'm very passionate about it. Aries, Mercury. People have a habit of misunderstanding you. Yeah, girl, I know. But that's part of your charm. Like, I feel like if you were to live stream, like, you would actually do really well on Twitch. I don't know if you game at all, or like that's been something you've been thinking about, or like even just wanted to hang out under like the just chatting page. I feel like there's, a community of people that also would appreciate like the way that you communicate too. And also on TikTok, like there's plenty of niche communities where I think if you just kind of plan out before you communicate like what exactly you want to share, do that before you hop into a live or anything like that. I'm just going to take a sip of my coffee. What I also want to actually read to you is, this is something that's helpful. I'll actually pivot my screen here. So this is the definitive book of human design. It's one of my favorites to like kind of, for the more like scholastic, if you will, academic feeling of human design. But in the first chapter, or section 2, it's the 9 centers, the flow of energy. And at the very end, it has this description of all of the ways that undefined centers. So if we're looking at, to flip my screen again, anywhere that there's white in your chart, that's an undefined center. If there's no gates, so like if that 8 wasn't highlighted, it would be called an open center. They're called like not self themes, or like how you're conditioned. Hi, Megan. How you're conditioned more naturally. So if you struggling with the throat center, I'll give you some vocabulary, and these are actually, this is really helpful. So anyone whose throat center is undefined, I want you guys to listen to this. Again, this is recorded and it's going to be on YouTube also. We're like an hour into the recording, a little bit less. But this is where I can give you some journaling prompts or like vocabulary to think about why you are the way that you are. So some not self themes for the undefined throat center, right? So Anna, yeah. So the preamble to this is the same for every open energy center. The not self mind, or how we are operating against our human design, is the spokesperson for the undefined centers and tells us what we should say or do. Noticing this talk is essential to deconditioning. That's the human design vocabulary word for coming back to self, for unmucking who the world told you to be and really understanding who you are. And your Virgo moon Pika can be very harsh and mean to yourself about that. So I feel for my Virgo moon people. Here are some examples of what the not self mental dialogue could sound like with an undefined throat center. Where should I go so that I can get attention that I want? Is anyone noticing me? Hello, hello, hello. If I say this, then I will be noticed. If I initiate this conversation, then I will get the attention I deserve. I better say something because the silence is making me uncomfortable. What should I manifest? I better manifest something. What or who will I become in life? And so those are very real conversations for you, very real like points of self-doubt where you're like, yeah, I noticed that a lot. Like I'm kind of getting in my own way. And I see maybe there was I think it blocked another comment of yours. The energy is not a privilege. Exactly. Those were the couple that it blocked. I only saw Tameen. If you want to drop that comment again. Oh, blocking yourself. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Literally and metaphorically, right? Yeah, it's like knowing that, okay, what is it that you want to share, right? Oh yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. I was traveling to take care of my dad, but yes, it did. I hate being perceived but meant to be. Okay, yeah. And I think it's like, well, there's ways that you can still get recognition, but you don't have to be perceived. Like maybe it's just making sure that your name is on a group project that you worked on. Or if you write something, maybe you write on Substack and Tumblr and read, and have an avatar or something in front of you or a picture where, there's something that you can kind of think about in an alt way that you communicate, right? And thinking about like, can you give me like a vocabulary word or just one umbrella that like you feel comfortable sharing? In what way you like, what is it that you're looking to share or to start specifically? Thank you so much, T. I appreciate you. I'm like 3 minutes behind. So if you booked for 8:30 Eastern, we'll start at 8:33 and you got your full 10 minutes. I just want to be fair to everybody. But I'll finish up with Pika in the next 5. Yeah. Yeah, okay, perfect. So starting astrology. So the perfect thing that I can say is start with what you know. And maybe, right? Maybe you start by just reading from different books and you have people that in your live like drop in, like, tell me your Venus sign and I'll read from the only astrology book you'll ever need about your Venus sign, right? Like just something that helps you get comfortable. And maybe if you want to do readings, but you only really are comfortable with like sun, moon, and rising, you can just do readings that only focus on that, you know? Or maybe you just put out content that's your niche, is the sun, moon, and rising combinations. There's also like some of my favorite astrology accounts that I follow are literally like, I don't know if you guys remember Polyvore, but they'll basically be like, cutouts of like what I would dress a Venus rising as, or like what, and they're little like pictures. Like that is still valid astrology content that I love. Like I love to consume that. It helps me think creatively even about my own astrology, or like I love to know how people perceive the combination of my placements, my rising and my Venus. So that can be another fun way. Yeah, another fun way that you kind of like work with where you're at, and you don't have to be perceived. One of my favorite women that does this, it's not for astrology, but so you get the gist. Her handle is Studio Inez. She's from Puerto Rico. It's traditional spelling of studio, but I-N-E-S, just to give you like a visual example. But that's one of the ways. It's like maybe you don't have the full vocabulary, but that also doesn't mean like you could put PDFs together for $20 for somebody that's like styling them, or like a style guide for people based on their astrology. Or maybe like cozy games that I would play if I had a Capricorn rising, right? Cozy games I would play for the adventure games for the Sagittarius moon, right? Like it doesn't have to be so structured for like being on camera and being like, so today this is what's happening and this is like, you don't have to do it like everyone else does it. And that's also like still a valid way and a great niche to get into. Hi, Hadley. So also considering that, and, you know, making sure that it's emotionally sustainable for you. I'm going to read for your undefined, I'm pointing, but you can't see what I'm looking at. I'm going to read also for your undefined solar plexus too, because that's also going to be helpful for what we're talking about if I read. So anyone who has an undefined solar plexus, this not self kind of vocabulary is going to also apply. I am in this category. So here are some examples of what not self mental monologue could sound like with an undefined solar plexus center. I don't want to go there because I don't want to deal with the confrontation. Definitely have been there. Let's go here because there won't be any confrontation to deal with. Let's not say that because it might upset that person. Let's say it like this to soften the potential confrontation. Let's be really nice and smile a lot so they like me. There is no point in going there because I might be disappointed or rejected. It's not worth it. I'm afraid it won't work out, so why bother? I'm afraid to tell her the truth because I don't want to hurt her feelings, right? So some other things where you're like, oh, maybe I have to say it this way to a Leo rising, but I'm a little afraid of like how they may take it. But if you're coming at it with kindness and you know that whatever it is that you're doing and sharing through the lens of astrology is to truly help other people, like the people that get you are going to get you. I literally had somebody that just went off on my Leo, my Leo rising post because it was like totally a moment of selective hearing, and probably, there you go. T, listen, I love my Leo risings. I have very close friends of mine that I talk to almost every single day that are Leo risings or Cancer risings. Like you guys are meant to get attention, but there's some people that like, if they want to misunderstand you, they're just going to. And I don't care about one person that misunderstands me when the other 85 Leo risings that got along and understood that video listen to it with their two brain cells fused together, and I don't have to jam them together for that person, right? So it's like if people want to be hurt about something and they take one person's video on the internet to like lay out all their burdens, and it was like I was just the straw for them, that's not my problem, right? But it takes time to build that muscle. I certainly wasn't also like that. Hi, Maple. At the very beginning either. Like it took time for me to build my confidence and finding my voice. T, I'm just bringing up your page now for building up my confidence in that way. But like, you know, for you, again, meet yourself where you're at. What's something fun? Like asking yourself at the end of the day, I want to do this. How can I make it fun? And if it doesn't feel fun, it means that I'm not doing it the right way, because life is supposed to be fun. There are hard moments, but let the hard moments come like when you're already focused on having your fun, right? And I can speak to experience that it really does work out that way for you. So yeah. But yeah, again, I'll post this recording T for you as well. This recording will be on my YouTube channel. I'm a fellow March baby, although I am a Pisces. And then we'll start, I'll call it at 8:34. So hi, Ellington. We make sure you get your full 10 minutes here. Here we go. And not the year 20,000. Okay. Yeah, yes, a cusper. In human design, you actually are considered a cusper. Although usually you're like one or the other. Like in astrology, like for you, you're an Aries. But we will see that in human design, you're late degree Pisces, early degree Aries energy. And then again, if you feel like if cusper feels right for you, like there's nothing wrong with that. Like whatever feels like it brings you a sense of clarity and peace. And like you're like, you know what? Yeah, that actually really does make sense for me and who I am. Then roll with it. You know, I'm not going to yuck anyone's yum. So let me make sure I read your question. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Pika. Flip my camera here for what we see. So what is my energy? Why is my energy all over the place? I have so many career goals, but I can't focus on one thing. So a couple things. You have incarnation cross, the left angle cross of healing in human design. So this also tells me that like physical well-being has probably been a little bit of a struggle for you, even if it wasn't like your arm was always broken or you always had a cast or always had a boot or something like that, but maybe like psychosomatic, like some sort of like chronic fatigue, anxiety, illness, you know, something. Of course, I have to say this is for educational purposes only. I'm not here to diagnose anybody. But for people with these placements, specifically gate 46, your body really does keep score. Yeah, my immune system isn't good. Yeah, I have anxiety. I'm sorry. I know, I feel for you guys because that is very real. The upswing of this is that through sharing the stories of your healing journey, that is a major part of your purpose. I will tell you a couple things. These two channels here can be people who are prone to melancholy, erring on the side of depression. So I just say that to validate the way that you may feel. Your anxiety can also like play a role in that. But again, like I'm not a doctor. I can just tell us through the lens of astrology, my little CYA. A huge thing that anytime I see this in somebody's chart, always is going to be a major factor is having gate 5. Yeah, I believe it, girl. I know. I feel for you. Hi, Tara. Gate 5 is teaching other people how to treat you. And when you have a structure and a cadence to your life, like when you are able to create your own schedule, that's where you really thrive. I know that you also don't like people telling you what to do because like you frankly don't need it. Like any type of job, and I'm sure you're interested in entrepreneurship. I would also look at like if you do have the ability to like do something with like disability insurance, or like even if you pay like into like a lower cost policy, you can buy like policies from like different insurance brokers. If you haven't looked into that can also in the future be something to consider, you know, from a trusted financial advisor. So I'll just kind of put that out into the ether as something that like, you know, a lot of insurance brokers, because they're selling insurance, will do like a free consultation to see if it's something that you really resonate with. But that can also be something that can help you from a logistical standpoint of like, if you can't work, here are some options. But yeah, gate 5 is like, you are going to have very specific ways that you like to manage your time in your day. Usually what happens, because you have a lot of different interests, I have this placement too. Yeah, absolutely. What happens, so like if you work for a corporate company, at least in the United States, I know I have a couple people that are in different corners of the world, but there will be certain corporate companies that will already have like disability insurance where like if you can't work and like, let's say because of a chronic illness and you need to take like a medical leave of absence, like they'll still pay you 40%, 80%, whatever of your salary to like keep you going. So that you at least have some income coming in. And then you may also like SSI could also be something that applies to that too. Yeah, I love that. Okay, yeah. So what I was going to say, so if we take that down, and I love this. So, okay, so let's say we have interior designer, visual merchandiser, and owning a candle business. All of those three things do tie together. Like if you are somebody that owns your own candle business, that can be a way that you start with that. You can do that sitting down at your stove in your house, right? Like you don't need to like have your own full-blown studio to start that. I also recommend using candle science. You can get really affordable, because of course I've also tried making my own candles. I make my own candles. I don't sell them, but I just like to have them. But you can get like really affordable, like smaller 1 ounce oils, and then there you go. And you can do like one-off candles. Like you don't have to start off by spending like $30 on like a really large batch of like candle oil, because I'm like crazy. I know a little bit about everything. So Candle Science, great place. My favorite scent from them is white tea. So I highly recommend that. It'll be like $3 probably plus like shipping. It's like super inexpensive and the quality is good. And then just get like a bag of soy wax from wherever. There's a candle company like literally going out of business, not too far from me. And if it was close, I would say that but you're not in this corner of the world, it probably costs twice as more for you in shipping. But yeah, so like that would be a great place to start. And then what you can do is go to local businesses and then say like for the summer, maybe what you do, because Gate 5 really likes working with the seasons. And I can speak to this from experience, anybody else who has Gate 5. So like the theme of what I offer in January, February, March is going to be different than when I offer in April, May, and June. And then July, August, September, the summer is going to be something different. So a great way that you can look at this, right? Especially if your body, and it's how therapeutic is it to make candles? Like it smells good. It's like candle wax, like it's alchemy. Like you can just put really good music on, like that's going to be soothing to your body. And again, like you could literally lay in bed and make a candle if you wanted to. Maybe not safely, right? I don't know if I fully recommend that, but yeah, I love that. And what a great way, like maybe you do something where like in your candles or like on your tag, like you have a little mantra for anxiety and you can make it surrounding like how you soothe your soul with candles, right? And watching the flame and being in communion with the candle and like infusing the energy. Maybe you put crystals on top or something like that. Can just be great ways for you to use that. Also, don't forget to get stickers that say highly flammable on the bottom so you can CYA with that. So if anyone burns themselves, they can't come back and sue you. So yeah, that's just my little, my lawyer version of, hi Jules, how are you? Like your business. So all that to say, let's say that you organize your candle business just for the summer, right? And you could, they sell them on Amazon, you know, or wherever you want to choose. I'm sure Temu as well. It's just to say like warning, you know? But for the summer, just focus on building your candle business. And then you can do a line where like you don't have to buy all these scents for like the autumn and whatever. Just buy like 5 scents that you really like. White tea is a great scent that everybody loves. That's really great for the summer. It's what they is usually the essential oil that they use in a lot of spas, especially in hotels and things like that. So like white tea would be a great scent, any kind of like seaside beachy scent. I don't know if anyone else has their favorite candle scent that they want to recommend, but that would be something that you could just focus on for the summer. And maybe you like to thrift like different vessels from like Goodwill and like glass, like thick glass or something like that. It's also a great affordable and ethical way to like use your vessels. And then it's kind of like each one can be created with love versus like, having to be something that's like mass produced. Like you could get a Yankee candle every day, but if I'm getting something from like a small business and a person that I like that's just the best way to do it. And then, right, if you're talking about being a visual merchandiser, if you want to in the fall, right, if it's still something that you want to do and you feel excited to do, you can start to reach out to like local small businesses and see if they want to, like if they want you to sell, if you want to sell your line or a couple scents, or maybe you make one signature scent for that small business. So there's there's a couple small businesses near where I grew up called like Bungalow Road. Yeah, listen, I am here to tell you, I have also, who here has not been a serial job hopper? That would be something that would be an easier question. But what helps you, right? Yeah. And listen, you know that you're like that, right? You know that that's part of you and navigating that has been the problem. So that's where you can say, like, if you just bring in a small batch of 10 candles to sell with this one store, it's easy because then once the 10 candles are gone, if they need to make more, you know, or they want to request more, you have the option to say yes or no if you feel like you want to shift to something else, right? That's where this comes from. So it's like meeting yourself where you're at, right? Anyone that has a brain cell to read that your candle business is based on anxiety, right, is gonna be kind enough to know that. Maybe it's also helpful to work with metaphysical stores. Part of your pitch to them can be, you know, like I make these candles when I feel good. So like I make them in small batches so that I make sure that I can still provide a good service for my clients. It's all about wording it and communicating it. People just like to be informed. So instead of you getting, and I was talking about this with Tara, I think earlier today, Tara, or yesterday, it's like people seeing you as flaky, right? But it's just working with the energy that you have. And if you already know that it's in small doses, then don't put yourself in a position where you're like, well, I'm going to make 100 cents. Yeah, today. Okay, thank you. I'm like, today feels like it was 8 days in one. So much happened today. But yeah, it's just a really great way that you can kind of focus on like, well, how do I work with my energy at play? Yeah, exactly. Put your self-esteem down, and like naturally so, because like the world, like, yeah. And I think that's a great thing to say too. Like if you were to do like a smaller store, you can just go to like metaphysical stores. They're all based on energy. So like, they're not going to be like, well, we say that for some people and for clients, but like for you, we're not going to treat you with the same respect. And like any good, metaphysical store that's worth its weight, or worth its salt, or whatever that saying is going to understand that, right? Small batches, things that you can sustain, right? Maybe you price your candles at like $25, something that like you can, weigh your cost of what you want your percentage to be. And just starting small with like having yourself, flex the muscle of doing that. And if you really find it therapeutic and you love it, that time is weird, then you're gonna, that's going to be a great way that you could take care of yourself too. Because your Jupiter is also in gate 27, which is you need to put your oxygen mask on first before you go pouring into other people. And what that tells me, I really think that if you spend the better part of this month really tracking your cycles and like really paying attention to cycle syncing has been a big thing. Poor Deanna, I meant to talk to her about this earlier, but I wanted to talk about the book Woman Code at the end of my Patreon training today. But I literally forgot until I got off and I looked at my book and I was like, oh yeah, that. But like, especially as a woman, right? Yeah, that's funny. That's funny because I isolate before conversing with people. Yeah, so it just tells me that like you are not an extroverted person, right? Or maybe you're an omnivert where it's like there's times where you can be social, but maybe it's not your preferred method. There's a bunch of like, yeah, I'm always in the room to recover. Exactly. And knowing that is like just keeping your circle small. And knowing that like you're not meant to be in a job where you have to talk or be around people 24/7. And then it's like, okay, well, I know that that's, my set of questions that I have to answer, my challenges that I have to solve, and how do I reverse engineer? Also your Aries Mars, makes sense. It'll be a time for you the next couple years to get disciplined about making sure that you track your cycles and your structure. So yeah, interior design is, yeah, exactly. But maybe like you can create like, maybe you just do bathrooms and interior design for bathrooms. Hi, Witchy Jinx. Hi. Something small, or maybe it's like figuring out like different ways. Maybe you just like to be behind the scenes and you make the mood boards for people. Maybe it is that people send you pictures online. They never see your face. You never talk to them, and you build a mock-up or source like affordable furniture online, or like give them ideas about how to style their room. Exactly. Conceptual. Exactly. Like maybe you don't have to go, because that's just like, depends on where you go. But I will say this, that a lot of people, the bigger jobs where it costs more money are usually with people, depends on the person, right? But there are a lot of people, at least where the interior designers that I knew, because I used to work at a gallery and we would give interior designers artwork, and they would have people that paid a good amount of money for people to design even just one room or their house, but they wanted a lot of control and a lot of like nitpicking of like I'm talking about like the level or the length of the fibers of the carpet, like type stuff, so it's like you clearly don't have the disposition to handle that. Most people don't, but it's like, yeah, you're like, either you like the rug or you don't. You're like, I don't give a shit. Like, I picked the rug, like, you don't care, you needed my help, like, whatever, right? So it's like, if you had people that were like, yeah, here's 10 grand, do it. There are people that are like that, but I think for where you're at right now, it would just be like putting yourself in a pickle that like you wouldn't even like. Yeah, there you go. You're like, who needs carpet? Wood floors only. Only ruggable, right? We only do washable rugs or whatever the case is, right? That have like no, I don't even know what the fiber, I don't know. But yeah, just the kind of way that you can focus on like just knowing that it's okay that you are that way, but you just want to make sure that you're managing what you can based on your bandwidth. And that's the best thing you can do for yourself. And for anyone that's starting off in spiritual entrepreneurship or just entrepreneurship in general, making sure that you are doing things sustainably, to just start to trust yourself that you can make candles and make money doing candles, things along those lines. Don't make yourself feel bad for not being able to stay in a 9-to-5 job. Most people are finding out that they also feel that way. So you're in the majority, not the minority, by, not being able to stay in that realm in that way. So I will leave you with that. Thank you so much for booking a reading with me and trusting me with your chart to help you. And I give you some cheat sheets so that you don't have to compare, 85 different candle oil sources or anything else, but some nice places for you to look at. So yeah, I know. I don't like being micromanaged either. I know. I think pretty much all 10 of us, 11 of us, probably in the same boat. And who doesn't? Like, it just, all that does is make people feel insecure or like uncomfortable that like it makes us feel stupid. It's like, oh, okay, like you're just seeing me as incompetent. So if you see me as incompetent, and that's what you believe about me, then why would I try to be any different? Like, what do I owe you, random person, that has a vendetta against me? I also would say as a Leo rising too, or any of my luminaries, right? My Libras too. It's a jealousy thing a lot of the time. So there are people that will be like, oh, well, they're perceived, like they get the promotion so easily. Maybe they're attractive, like, whatever the case is, like the things that the narratives people write for my luminaries. So any Cancer or Leo, sun, moon, or rising. Jay, yeah, there you go. It's people just don't like it, so they want to yuck your yum, right? Exactly. And it's the best thing that you can do, especially for my luminaries and my Libra risings too, Libras, is like to just be okay with people not getting that and like let them be mad. Let them be mad. Like, okay, like if that's what you want, if you want to fight, like you're at your big age, you want to fight, we work in insurance, like what are you talking, like who cares, like it's not that deep. Yeah. Oh my God, there you go. Yeah, it's because it's really not. You're like, it's really not that deep. Like I literally won't even be here forever. Like the second that I can be out, like I'm gone. Like, but at least like, I think at the end of the day, a lot of the times, and it's kind of sad, but I'm like, wow, like I'm so thankful that I'm not like that. So that's actually what gets me through my day. Like at least I have the wherewithal at this point in time where I have the emotional intelligence, the nervous system regulation to know that I deserve better. And I'm going to lead by example. It's kind of like not even to kill him with kindness, but like kill him with indifference sort of thing. Like just don't even bother. Wait, let me yeah, exactly. Like I don't have time, Girl, I have a situation. Oh yeah, there we go. Wait. I love this. Literally just put out house rules for the stanky evil eye. I love that. Exactly. Especially at beautiful Leo rising. Proof is in the pudding, right? Like you guys, you get it all the time. So I see it in different ways. Aquarius rising, like, I get elements of that. I think it's definitely not as intense for me as it is for you guys though. Yeah, I'm guessing I'm going to be the queen of side hustles in the meantime. Yeah, and like, just have fun with it. Like, you're young, T. So like, hi, Nini, hi, Lex. You have time to figure it out. Like, literally for all of your 20s, allow yourself to just kind of figure out what it's going to be. Let me count. Seven different jobs throughout my 20s, 8. And like side hustles, like sometimes I was working 3 jobs like simultaneously, but one would be like 10 hours a week. All bodies. That's 9. So like not basically a different job a year, but that wasn't how it worked out. It was like multiple different ones happening simultaneously. So it's so much more normal than people make you feel, right? Yeah, oh my God, don't get me started on the amount of jobs I've worked. Yeah, listen, you're figuring it out and it's really not that serious. People need you more than you need them. A lot of the times, I know that that's not like the most popular thing to say about the job market now, but it is true. Thank you, Nini, I appreciate that. So yeah, my mom is more traditional and tells me to find a job and stay there. Yeah, because that's just the generation, like they don't, I feel like until, you're 30, like give yourself time. We also come out more dynamic because of it. It's true. Oh my God, Nini. Now we're just becoming one. We're fusing. Our brain cells have fused together. So affirmation of that what you're saying is on target. But yeah, exactly. And that's where like, we're not getting social security. I literally saw 2 videos today, 2 people who worked for Microsoft. One guy was there for 22 years. The other girl was there for 10, worked for Microsoft. They laid her off. The only time that it was worth it to stay at a job is because you were guaranteed social security and a pension. Right? So it's like, we don't even know if we're going to have any of those things. So it's like that worked for a time, but it's like when we're actually talking about the market as it is, like, I'm not going to lie down with the ship. And also like, if you're in a corporate position and you feel secure there, you need to be looking every like 3 to 5 years, right? If you're really not like high up enough of where you want to be, because that's also how you're going to get a higher salary. That's the new market that we're in. You know, and I think like if your mom, I did a career coaching session for a kid that just graduated college because his mom is a friend of one of my other clients and she recommended me. Yeah, careers is changing 1,000%. I think that, oh, there you go. Yes, exactly. Because like your mom hit it at the right time in the right way for the right generation. She worked that system that existed to the best way of her ability, right? Because to stay loyal to a company used to mean something. Staying loyal to a company now doesn't mean as much as it used to, right? So it's like if you're somewhere that like you're like, okay, this puts a roof over my head, it gives me the disposable income to be able to be creative about my career, then I'm going to do that. But it's like, you know, or if you're in the position like you are, where you're like, I know that like if I just focus on making candles and I at least start with that and I only have to do it for a month, give yourself a month, right? It doesn't pay either. Exactly. Like if I am making money staying at this job that is just covering bare necessities, like what am I doing? You know? Leslie, yeah, sales means different things for different companies, 1,000%. And talk about like sales being like the craziest out of all of them. Like no matter where you go, sales is always crazy. Yeah. Well, because honestly, a lot of it comes with like, you know, you're going to get attention when you're out. So like, if you don't feel like you're at your best or like you just feel like it gives you anxiety because like it's attention, it's like walking through Times Square. There's going to be people that are normal that just happen to look at you because they're normal, or like a sweaty Elmo, like dying under his like, you know, costume, trying to finesse you for a $25 photo. You know, like that's the internet. That's how it feels to go out into the world. I highly recommend, if you don't have a worry stone or a worry doll, I would get them. I'm Irish, so it's like we do like worry stones to put in your pocket that have a little indent that you can kind of fidget with. And also really practicing doing a white light bubble of protection ritual multiple times a day. Yeah, Noelle, exactly. Yes, it's true. Yes. Also that Leo rising has Scorpio at her root. Exactly. Oh yeah, I do too. Yes. I'm also a Scorpio moon. Yeah. So emotionally you're like, I feel and see everything. So it's like, it's information overload, I think is why it's not that you don't like to be perceived. It's that a little bit, but you also don't like to pick up on so many people's energy because it can get a little depressing if you don't know how to alchemize that and you don't have an outlet for it. One offered a base of 55, another 80, but with lots of moving around. Yeah, see, it's like, okay, like the 80 comes with its own, I get the money, but it's like, now I don't even have one place that I can pay for, you know, I have enough for a rent or mortgage, but then like, I'm never there. Yeah, right. Gave 3 days, made years at Universal, making upper management. Yeah, look amazing for him to turn so quick. Yeah, see, it's so crazy. So crazy. Oh, Leslie, okay, yeah, I'm a Leo rising, but no Scorpio. Yeah, then that's okay. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Noelle, in your beautiful vocabulary, can you share and elaborate on to explain to Leslie what you meant by the root? I know what you meant, but I want you to share it because I like the way you describe things. I'm just going to close my window. Oh, you married a Scorpio. There you go. So he's your root. Yeah. The root meaning the fourth house or the base of your chart where you feel safe and at home. So the visual, right, is that our rising sign, if this is the upper half of our birth chart, the half circle, then there's a lower circle here. Our rising is the horizon line of our birth chart. So it's always going to be to the left side of the circle. And then underneath it, for all of us, is our fourth house. Whatever your rising sign is, if you share the same rising sign, so Leslie, T, Noelle, you all have Leo risings. I don't think I missed anyone else here. Maybe, sorry if I did. You're all going to have Scorpio that rules your fourth house, which is your roots, where you feel grounded. But I also noticed, because as a Leo rising, whatever your ascendant or your rising sign is, I actually have a freebie that's going up on my website for the planetary rulers. So basically we look at your rising sign. Yeah, your little hidden inner world, home and home life. Thank you. Hi, Sony. Yes, I love that. Thank you for sharing that. But whatever, so being a Leo rising, your planetary ruler is your sun. So you want to also look at what house your sun is in, right? So if you are, let's see, Leo rising, and I look at this. Yeah, so your sun is either going to be in the probably the 8th house, 8th or 9th house if I had to guess for you, which is why you don't want to be perceived. So there you go. Your rising sign is your 1st house, but being an 8th house sun would make a lot of sense. Oh, for Leslie too. So we have a lot, that makes sense, which is also like Scorpio. It's like hidden. Also, angel investors, other people's money. So if there's people that actually like, you would be good at like kind of having like the conversation of like pitching like some wealthy person your candle idea. And then instead of being like, you give them the idea about like candles for anxiety, right? Basically Scorpio, exactly. Especially with your moon conjunct your, or no, never mind. Yeah, 4th house moon wanting to be at home. Home feels comfortable. It would be like having other people invest in your business. Yeah. But I like that. I don't know. It's a little sprinkle, a little Shira 7. Yeah, managing finances for others. I would say specifically, it could be that, right? Depending on oh, I blocked the two. Hold on. It could be that based on the 8th house. However, I would say just for where T is at right now, it would be like, figuring out ways to manage finances based on like, what's the 2nd house is happening there too? There's some 2nd house activity. Yeah, like figuring out to manage what you have first, no matter how big or how small. I think because like for T specifically, like she just doesn't want to talk to anybody else. So it's like, I don't even want to talk to you about things that are that serious. Like if I can't talk about your rug, I don't want to talk about your pension or like your, you know, whatever it is. That was my first job and not really home, just my main task at home. Yeah. Yeah. And listen, I will tell you that to help with the anxiety and the nervous system regulation, because I'm very big on like, practical integration of this. Even if you sell one candle and you make $10 selling that candle, once you do that actual action, it's going to help you flex the muscle of showing your nervous system like, oh, like I actually can do this, right? You also have a gate 28. I don't know if anyone else has gate 28, but Scorpio moon, fear of running out of time. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. If you're not energetically safe, we don't want the conversation can feel like that Scorpio energy. Yes, exactly. Yes. Yeah, exactly. So that's why I'm turning to candles, because it's not good. Yeah, it's a great way, right? Oh yeah, I love that, Leslie. I did a tarot reading for a friend tonight. That's perfect. A beautiful way to be like illuminated in your gifts after the Scorpio full moon. That's a really beautiful like way. There's a couple people that were like, oh, somebody asked me to like bring my cards to a dinner. Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, T, I hope you have a good night. Enjoy. Let us know when your candles are ready so we can go and support you. White tea is my favorite scent. I'll just say that. So if I can give you an option. But yeah, and I'll be on for another like 15 minutes. And then I'm gonna hop off for the evening. But yeah, I'm on every Thursday night at 7:30 T. And then I am on YouTube on Wednesdays at 7:30. And then I'll post the recordings with timestamps so you guys have this. Yeah, all of our Leo risings. I love that. I love that. It makes me happy. And I felt my Aqua rising compliment to you guys. So I'm happy you're here. Thank you. Thank you for letting me pour into you. If anyone wants to grab a last minute reading, now would be the time. If not, I'll be back on doing live readings on Wednesday on YouTube, or next week, Thursday here. I wanted to look at my schedule for tomorrow, because I may be doing a body doubling session, co-working session in the morning on YouTube, but I just wanted to look to see if I had anything that was blocking my schedule. Nothing there. Let's look at this. Or any other questions that you guys want to ask in the interim before we depart for the evening. Yeah, okay, I'll do a co-working session. I'll start at 11:30 tomorrow, or maybe do I want to do 12? What do you guys want? If you do a co-working session, do you want to do 11:30 a.m. or 12 p.m. noon Eastern Standard Time? I'll let you guys choose if any of you are able to be there. My Sidereal's Leo, I feel so loved. I love that. Yeah, I'm happy to give my Leos your flowers because you guys deserve it. You're very loyal. Aw, have a wonderful night, T. The universe is always doing something wonderful for you. I love that. Yeah, Ellington is amazing. Very sweet. I'm feeling down. Yeah. No, your gate 28 is like pivoting that to time is not lost. I just know that I have stuff that I want to offer. How do I play life like a game? Right? It's like turning that into like, not I'm late. I will say, because I have gate 28 too. As I've got the later in my 30s I got or 20s I got into my 30s, I'm 31. The easier, like, I made friends with that gate placement. It just takes time to be like, because your 20s are like so crazy for everybody. You're like about to go, you're 25, right? So like you're going to go through your nodal opposition, and then you're just going to get more clarity about what you want. And it's okay to just do what you have to do to like try everything in the meantime. Yeah, exactly. That's so funny. That was an answer to trivia that we did 2 weeks ago. And Alice in Wonderland is like one of my favorite of all time Disney movies. Oh yeah, I love that. Exactly. That's why I love, like, when I do the body doubling sessions, I do 15 minutes on, 5 minutes off, and we get work done. Today we started chatting at the very end, but I love that. Yeah, it really does. Yeah. No time to say hello and goodbye. I'm late. Literally. As like he's actively saying it. So it's like, we're so funny like that. Like, I can make fun of myself for literally being like that. But yeah, if any of you guys for the last like 10 minutes that we're here, if you have any other questions, anything you want me to answer so that it's on recording, I just don't pull. Oh, there you go. I know, right? Maybe I'll watch that tomorrow with my dad. Yes, go get ready. Don't actually be late because I made you late. You can blame it on me though. This girl on TikTok wouldn't stop talking to me. But we'll see you soon. Over there. But yeah, if there's anything else that you guys can think of that you like have had on your mind, I'll do, hold on, should I flip a coin? I don't know. I'll see if I see a 1 or a 3, I'll do 11:30 first. If I see a 1 if I see a 2. Okay, I saw a 2, I'll do 12. Me just making a decision. I'm like, whatever if I'm So I'll start my body doubling session tomorrow at 12. And then we'll go for like a couple hours. So 12 Eastern Standard Time. Oh. There you go. Yeah, okay, perfect. Yes, I love that. Thank you so much. Yeah, I have a couple things. I have to figure out what it is that I'm gonna work on. I know I have things, I just can't think of it simultaneously. I have to do my little assessing. Yeah. Oh, okay, I'll do some research for the Godheads too. Oh, and this is my little to-do list that I wrote. See, I'm so much more organized than I realized. The story of my life. And then I'll set up some definite dates and times for June for co-working too. So it'll work itself out. But yeah, if no one has any other questions, I'll head out for the night. I'll download this now so that it'll probably finish processing. Gate 58, exactly. Oh, last night I read about Gate 58 on my TikTok or my YouTube live. It's in there. It's like in the last like half hour somewhere. But yeah, I'll download this. So for T, Anna, Pika, and Megan, not in that order, reverse order, I'll post the timestamps for you. So it'll definitely be up by tomorrow. That may be something that I end up finishing on live. So I hope you guys have a beautiful Thursday. Thank you for spending part of it with me. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and I will see you at 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time for a body doubling session. If you want help getting things checked off your to-do list, cleaning, work, whatever it is, social media, we'll do that 12 p.m. over there. So have a beautiful night. Buenas noches, amiga. And I'll see you guys soon. Love you.